Rachel Kelly, the Fear Coach, coming to you this afternoon because I'm shooting a quick video on my story. So, like part of our video challenge is to do our story. And what I want to say is before yes, I joined this video challenge to help with my consistency even more. But I want to make this into eventually a product, because I believe that my story is going to help someone else get through, overcome some of the things that they've gone through in life. So, as I shared before, my part of my vision for the next 50 days is to find 5 people who want to overcome fear, who's tired of being afraid, who's tired of being in bondage, and who fear has actually has crutched and kept you bound. And so I'm going to start out telling you my story. And what I want to ask you to do is, yes, it's my story, but I want you to keep in mind that even though I'm going to say some things that don't seem pleasant or doesn't seem nice, I love my family. I love my mother. I love my father. To me, even though we went through the things we went through, the best parents in the whole wide world. So what I want to go back, and let me just kind of like reverse back when I was a little girl. Excuse me, my fear. So I'm focusing on fear and what that looked like for me, and why I spent my entire life being so afraid of everything. I started out, and the story was told to me, so I don't know the details of it, but when I was a baby, I was in a fire. So the fire surrounded my entire playpen, but it never touched me. What happened was my mom had to go get, she went next door to get some sugar, and just that quick, fire started. And thank God, the one of the ladies in the apartment was running some bath water, and my aunt dumped the blanket in. She came in and she got me out. So I love my aunt dearly. So I think that was the beginning journey for me for fear. Shortly after I was 2, my mother found me a very loving foster home to go to and live there, and I couldn't have asked for a better foster parents. Think about it though, it still was rejection. Regardless if she found me the best or not, I felt rejected. I felt unloved. I felt unwanted. Just imagine for a minute that you were placed somewhere from your parents, and your parents are not there for you for the most critical years of your life. That's a very hurting thing. So that was part of the journey. Even though I was with my foster parents, who I believe loved me dearly, I had some things that I went through. I went through identity crisis, my mom was African American, my dad was Caucasian. I was picked with, I was teased, I was called hunky, albino. I got older, I had acne really bad. Acne face, ugly, just like the kids were so cruel and so mean. So I would like sit to myself all the time. And then, I went through that for a long time, avoiding, being around other kids. I didn't want to be around them. I didn't want to be associated with them. I kept to myself. I felt that was my safe place. That was the place where, I was okay with who I was. But eventually my mom came and she picked me up. I was 12. She picked me up from foster care, and she said, "I'm coming to take you guys home." It was my brother, my sister, and myself. And she brought us home. And again, because I had such a low self-image of myself, as Layla said, and I thank God for Layla and encouraging us to do this. As she said that, what happened is, I was a target for bullying. I was a target for the kids to tease and pick with me because I wasn't strong and confident in who I was. So, the bullying went on. It went on for years. Year after year after year after year, I was bullied. And it put a lot of fear inside of me. I was totally afraid. I was afraid of everything. I remember even before my mom picking me up, how, I would dream about these snakes. Like snakes would be like all in my bed, all over the house, all on the floor. They would be everywhere. And I'd wake up frantic at night being terrified of snakes just like taking over my life, you know. And till this day, you know, I'm like terrified of snakes. But you know, one thing that I've been doing is like some of the things that I teach, some of the things that I encourage, I've actually been doing myself, and part of that is even visualizing myself holding a snake, which is really, really crazy because there was a time I wouldn't watch a TV show or anything that had a snake to do it. We would go to pet shops. I take my kids to pet shops. Nope, not going in that section. So I'm seeing some growth because now I'm actually visualizing myself being around that. Went to live with my parents. The bullying continued. It was always constant. One day I got tired of being bullied, and so I stood up. Some kids would bully me on the bus, and I decided to fight back. And what happened was, after I decided to fight back, I became a bully. I got to the point where I started bullying other people because I was really it was fear that was coming out, and I was fighting what I didn't want. I didn't want to own that anymore. I didn't want to be mistreated and you know, people just treating me so bad. I was just so tired of it. Next thing you know, I found myself getting suspended all the time and, you know, being kicked out of school, and it was terrible. I mean, it was just like to the point where, no, it was unreal. But what I found out was I really didn't love myself. I didn't love who I was. I didn't love who I was created to be. I didn't have any of that. And let me see, one day, I don't know, I forgot what I was doing, but I started just getting off into like makeup and stuff, and like wearing makeup, and, you know, I started telling myself that I'm pretty, and, you know, that I'm worthy, and, you know, just all those kind of things. You know, of course, I was raised as a Christian. My mother, I've always gone to church. My mother, she would take me to church. My foster mother, she would take me to church. I mean, I've always gone to church. My mother would always pray for me. So I always had that little something in the back saying, you can do it. I love you. I love you. I adore you, daughter. You know, and even though I couldn't connect with my earthly father because he was never in my life, up until I turned like 19 years old. When I turned 19, maybe I was 18. I know I was, right before I was going to graduate, I asked my mom, I said, Mom, you know, I want to meet my dad. And so, you know, she's like, you know, he really don't want to meet you, baby girl. And that was really hard for me. That was hard to know that my dad didn't want to be a part of my life. And so I just kind of like accepted it, you know. And then one day when I came home from, I think I was around 18 years old, she says, I need to talk to you. Your dad wants to meet you, and he wants to come here, and also, can he sleep in your room? And I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. I didn't say no. I was, you know, willing to do whatever. It didn't really matter one way or the other. That was another interesting journey, one that probably would take me another 10 minutes, or I would say 8 minutes so far, of you know, what that was like. But in short, I had so much hurt and so much pain. You know, even though my father tried, every year he came to visit me every single year. He did not miss a year. And actually, my son is 19, so that's when he started coming. No, he actually started coming before then. So I know for 19 years, one of those years he missed, and my son is 19. So, you know, and I'm backtracking probably about 8 years before that. Did he? I don't know, but I know he was, after that, turned 18. He started, like, he would send me gifts. He would do different things. But I just wasn't ready. The hurt and the pain was so bad that I wasn't ready to let him have that part of my heart. And it took me almost, I don't know, it was 18, 28, 38, almost 22 years to really say, I let you into my heart. You know, I accept you. I forgive you. And, you know, and I want to say that forgiveness is a very crucial part of all of this. You must forgive the person that has hurt you. And so that's my father's story, and now it's a beautiful story. I love my dad dearly. Nothing I wouldn't do for him. And those of you on my Facebook will all know that that we've had some very interesting journeys here recently. So, you know, my dad, that was a freeing story. Then let me see what else happened. Gosh, there's so much that happened. You know, I came home with my mom. I graduated from high school. That, you know, I was like, I'm not going to be a statistic. I'm not going to fall out. But I started looking for love in all the wrong places. You know, when we start looking for love in all the wrong places, you'll end up getting where you're looking at. But, you know, I thank God for my mother, because in the midst of all of the bad decisions, or actually they may have been bad to me, but I think now that they were probably the best decisions that my mother made for me. I was, then I was wanting to get married. I was 20, I don't know how old I was, but for a long time I was just dating and, just hanging out and having fun and not really caring about anything. And then, when I went to college, I was like, I'm just tired of this life. I started like studying psychology. I wanted to know why people did what they did, why they thought the way that they did. I just was like really into why are people the way they are. And so I was, was in college for that. A person who was like a D and a C student went to college and started being an A and B student. So I kind of like started believing in myself more. It's like, hey, I can do this. I can be this. I can become that. And, and then the journey goes on a little bit more. I started traveling and seeing the world. And, I started like seeing that there was more to life than just that doom and gloom. Like, I could really, really enjoy my life, and there's so much more for me. And then, I started getting to the point where I was tired of dating and I wanted to settle down. And so I started praying for a husband, and then the next day some guy came along and I'm like, ooh, I got to learn how to make my prayers specific because this dude was almost like going to kill me, So then I figured it out, like, okay, I need to help him get out of this relationship before I'm in, I end up like 10 feet under. And so I did. And I met my husband. And one thing I learned was to, when I'm praying, to be more specific about my prayers and what I wanted. I think that was the beginning of me understanding the portion of being specific. And so now the journey goes on a little bit longer. And what it says is that, I know I have a crazy story, but my, I started getting off into like network marketing. And it was because I wanted to start a wellness center for people who are hurting, people that are broken, people who had no hope, people who, they just, their lives were just ruined. I mean, that's what I wanted. And I wanted it really bad, but I didn't have the money to actually start it. I didn't have the self-confidence to go out and get partners or ask people, to support me and sponsor that. I was terrified of even a business deal or asking someone, can you be my business partner, or, can you, help me with this project. And so I came online to be a network marketer because I read all these crazy, all these stories about different people who were making money and, how they were doing. I'm like, oh, I'm going to become a millionaire and I'm going to make all this money for this wellness center so that I can help people. And lo and behold, guess what happened? I came out here. I tried it. Well, let me say, I'm going to back up a little because I was just into network marketing first. And then I quit my job because my daughter was born and I wanted to be home, take care of her. I didn't want my children to go through what I went through. I wanted to always be there for my children. And then that journey went on with her. And then my son with special needs was born. So when he was born, that was like the icing that was put on the cake. And I really still had all these dreams, but I went through 6 years of depression. I was totally depressed, and I felt like I didn't have a friend in the world, no one to talk to, no one to encourage me. And then one day I decided, okay, I'm coming out. And this time when I come out, God, I need for you to be the head of me coming out. And I need for you to lead, guide, and direct my life in the direction that you want me to go. And so I came out here online and I'm going to make all this money to start this business. And what I didn't realize was I had so many more things on me I needed to work on. I had so much fear inside of me that it was ridiculous. And so I came out, I started doing a lot of personal development. I started learning things. I learned how to be an internet marketer. I learned how to be a storyteller. Now, I can tell stories regardless of what they tell me to do anyway, because that's just what I do. I love to talk now. As you can tell, we're 14 minutes into this video, but I'm just about finished up. So I came out here with that purpose in mind. When I first came out, though, what really drew me out was Social Security. My youngest son was diagnosed with Down syndrome. And that 6 years was a terrible journey for me. It was horrible. But I was so tired of being there. I was tired of being depressed. We lost our house. We lost everything that we own. And it just, it was like, I'm just tired of being here. I want so much more. But I knew that fear was a thing that was stopping me and keeping me from going forward. And so then I started doing a lot of personal development, because that's one of the things that they suggest when you come into the internet marketing industry, is to do personal development. Started reading a lot of books. Started like getting in my word, started praying more, just started just transforming to the person that I desired to be. And so we are here today. And when I look back over my life, when I look back at what has happened and what has transpired, where I am at today, the girl that was terrified of everything, now, I do hangouts Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, share my thoughts, share my ideas. If you want to find us, you can either go to Fearless Online Entrepreneurs or Fearless Millionaire Moms. You should be able to find some content that we have out there with really, really good stuff. Started doing that. And then another thing that, that the Lord allowed to happen for me was it's been almost 2 years now. I had desired to I wanted to do motivational speaking. I wanted to encourage people. I wanted to be a success coach. And so I was looking for a community or a nonprofit organization in the city to go and provide my services to for free, et cetera, et cetera. I just wanted to be a blessing to somebody and encourage someone. And so I had been setting an intention. I had to begin imagining myself being on the stage and et cetera, et cetera. And then a year later, what happens? I meet my pastor, who's passed away now, but I met him about it's been a little bit more than a year ago, about a year and a half ago, and and his son and him asked me to actually be his son's assistant. Now, every Sunday I get up and the Lord will give me some type of word to share with the church. I do a lot of I do appreciation services where I'll say nice things about people and give them flowers and give them cards. These things that I would have never done prior to going through all of this. So that's my story. Hopefully that has inspired you. Hopefully that has encouraged you that you can overcome anything that you face. But the one of the most important things is to accept the fact that, I'm sorry, they are always, my family just loves me so much, they like to have you stop and look. But the key thing is understanding and knowing what you want. And once you know what you want, then go ahead and start seeing yourself doing that thing that you want. That's truly the key to moving forward. And just keep in mind, it's one step at a time. You take one step, and then you'll take another, and then you take another. Oftentimes, we try to take 4 and 5 steps at a time, but just take one step at a time, and you will be glad that you did it that way. And guess what? I see a crooked candle back there. It looks like my Nate might have broke my candle. So take care. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow with video number. Actually, I have another video to cut later on today, so I'm going to share that with you too. Trying to do my catch up on my video challenge. Hopefully this information has inspired you, encouraged you to go past your fears, to face them, so that you can do the thing that you were called to do in this world that we live in. Till the next time, my friend, you have a blessed day, and we will see you in a little bit.